Today we are talking about area of polygons. So we want to look at the area of a polygon. This is a regular octagon and it has a side length of 10 inches. So part A wants me to label the figure to the right. Each of these sides is going to be 10. Part B wants me to find the perimeter of the polygon. So how many sides does an octagon have? 8. So I can take 8 times 10 to figure out that my perimeter is 80 inches. I'm actually going to skip step C. D wants me, or tells me that the radius is 13 inches. Find the height of each triangle formed inside the octagon. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw across my octagon. Oops, that one was not right. And it told me this is 13 inches. So from the center to each corner is 13 inches. This has a special name when it's inside a polygon and not a circle. It's called an apothem. So if I want to find the height of one of these triangles, I'm going to sketch it out off to the side. So I know that the base is 10, and I know that these two sides are 13. That makes this an isosceles triangle. So if I want, I can cut it down the middle with a perpendicular line. It'll be the same distance from each side. So there'll be 5 here and 5 here. So now if I just focus on my right triangle, I have 13 as my hypotenuse, and then my height, and 5 as my two sides. So here I'm going to use the Pythagorean theorem, which remember is a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So I'm going to plug those values in. I don't know my A. B is 5, and C is 13. So I want to solve. I have a squared plus 25 equals 169. Then I can go ahead and subtract 25 on both sides. And if I take the square root of 144, it gives me 12. So my height is 12. So I'm going to go ahead and just draw it on one of these triangles. It wants me to find the area of the octagon. If I look back at this picture, this octagon is made up of 8 triangles. So what I can do is I can find the area of a triangle and then multiply it by 8. So I'm going to do 8 times, and then I have 1/2. The base of my triangle is 10. The height of my triangle is that 12. And then I would just type this all into the calculator. Remember, this 8 is because there are 8 sides. 8 sides. Which gets us 480. This was measured in inches squared. Because area is always inches squared. So I can officially write out my formula for the area of a regular polygon now. It's going to be A equals NAS divided by 2, where N is the number of sides. A is my apothem, that is the height. And S is my side length. Okay, so on number 1, it wants me to find the area of the regular polygon. So I have my apothem, that is the 8. I don't have my side length, so I need to go ahead and solve for it. I am going to use, I'll use that 8 as my A value. 14 as C, and then B for that. So I'm going to have 8 squared plus B squared should equal 14 squared. So that gets me 64 plus B squared equals 196. Then I want to go ahead and subtract 64 on both sides. Which gets me 132. So then I can take the square root of both sides. 132 is not a perfect square, so I'll do that one on my calculator. It gives me, I'm going to round to 1 decimal place here, 11.5. So if half of it is 11.5, I need the whole way across. So I want to multiply by 2.
Good morning, please.
Good morning. Which gives me 23. I'll write it up here. So that is my side length. I know my apothem is A, and now I need to know the number of sides. So I'm going to count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 6, 7, 8. So n equals 8. Oops, I went back on this one screen. Okay, so plugging into my formula, I have 8 for the number of sides, times 8 for my apothem, and 23 for my side length. Then I divide by 2. So if I want to type this into my calculator, I want to type the whole numerator in its own special set of parentheses. Like that. And then divide by 2, which gives me 736 units squared. So same thing on this next one. 3 is going to be my apothem, and I'm missing my side length, so I'm going to use the Pythagorean theorem again and label that side piece B. So I have 3 squared plus B squared equals 3.5 squared. I know 3 squared is 9, and 3.5 squared is 12.25. So then I subtract 9 on both sides. I get B squared equals 3.25. And then I need to take my square root. So again, one decimal place is going to give me 1.8. So 1.8 is just half of my side length. I need to double that. Which will get me 3.6. So this entire side is 3.6. I have my S and my A. Now I need to figure out my number of sides. So I'm going to go ahead and count. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So plugging into my formula, I have 6 times my apothem was 3, my side length was 3.6, divided by 2. Typing in my calculator gets me 32.4 units squared. Okay. This next one says a regular pentagon. Pentagon has 5 sides, so I can figure that out right now. Has a radius of 6 inches, and the interior triangle has a height of 4. So that also tells me my apothem is 4. Find the area of the pentagon. It's helpful if I draw this out. There we go. 5 sides. So I'm going to draw this triangle. It said the radius was 6, so that is the hypotenuse, and my height is 4. So I need to find my side length. This is going to be my C, A, B. So So I'm going to have 4 squared plus b squared equals 6 squared. Four squared is 16. 6 squared is 36. Then I subtract 16 on both sides. Gets me 20. Then I take the square root of both sides. Again, rounding to one decimal place is going to give me 4.5. So to find my side length, I double this. Which will get me 9. So I can plug in the formula because now I have all of my numbers. I have 5 sides. My apothem was 4, and my side length is 9. And I divide by 2. Which gets us 90. And this was in inches. Okay, so on the next one, it tells me my radius is 8, so that's the slanted line. I am going to first find my side length, so 8 is my C, 6 is my A. I need to find my B, so I'm going to have 6 squared plus B squared equals 8 squared. 6 squared is 36. B squared is B squared. 8 squared is 64. Then I want to subtract 36 on both sides. I have B squared equals 28. Then I want to take the square root of both sides. That one's not a perfect square, so type it in my calculator. This one gets me 5.3. And then to get my side length, I double it. Which is 10.6. I need to figure out how many sides are on the shape, so I'm going to go ahead and count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So my n equals 8. Plugging into my formula, I have my number of sides times my apothem, which is the 8, times my side length, which is 10.6, divided by 2. Gives me wait, my apothem was at 8, it was 6. 254.4. And this was measured in kilometers, so kilometers squared. My last problem tells me I have a regular hexagon. That means my number of sides is 6. Has a radius of 10 and side lengths of 12. What is the area of the entire figure? So I need to draw this out. Okay, so my radius is 10. That is the slanted line. I don't know my height, so I have to look for my apothem. And if my side length is 12, half of that for this triangle is going to be 6. So on this one, I'm looking for my a. I'm going to have a squared plus 6 squared equals 10 squared. Six squared is 36. 10 squared is 100. Subtract 36 on both sides. I get a squared equals 64. So I can take the square root of both sides. 64 is a perfect square, so I can take the root of it. It's 8. So plugging into my formula, I have my number of sides, which is 6, my apothem, which is 8, and my side length, which is 12. Divide by 2. Gives me 288, and this one was meters. So meters squared.